What's the worst thing you've done at work and may or may not have got away with? Story number 1. I was an assistant manager for a well-known company. Let me just say we had a great team, people who loved our company culture and breathed the business. Our previous boss was great at building teams. We had gotten a new GM who had worked for a big box store, Kohl's, and she was a man-hater, straight up dumb and incapable of an ethical management style. They had fired my co-worker, assistant manager, with a bullshit made-up lie, saying he left our safe open, he had been there for years and was the most by-the-book guy. Well, it was just me and her managing for a while, and some brand reps. One of my brand reps got so sick of it, she told me she was done after today. She doesn't stand her anymore. I told her it was fine. I'd put her paperwork in the morning. Well, while I was doing closing paperwork, she drew headstones all over our back room wall of all the people who quit because of this manager with the heading, "Here lies company name, hopes and dreams." I let her do it. Even mine was on there with an empty, awaiting quit date. Then she wrote her a letter, saying how she had loved this company and the new boss was awful. I let her leave. I had a crazy call the next morning from my boss, and I played dumb as shit, but it gave me satisfaction, knowing she finally knew it was all because of her. Then I got a promotion to a bigger store with a better manager. Story number 2. I was a tour guide for the Kilimanjaro Safari at Animal Kingdom, one of the Disney World parks in Orlando. The job involved driving a 40-ton truck through an actual animal reserve, telling the guests animal facts like this is a giraffe, he is really tall. They had a system where you could only call in sick 3 times a year, but each time could be up to 3 days, so if you call in sick Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, then that's only 1 call-in. But if you call in sick Monday, go to work Tuesday, and call in sick Wednesday, that's 2 call-ins. So one day I'm not feeling well, so I call in sick. Next day I feel fine, but I figure, hell, might as well milk it since I get the days anyway, so I call in the next 2 days. Next day I've got to go into work because my 3 days are up, but I accidentally sleep through my alarm. Whoops, gotta call in, and since they're freebies, I call in the next 2 days as well. I've now missed 6 days of work, a nice little break, but back to the grind. Nope, slept in again. I call in sick for my 3rd and final time of the year. Naturally, I take my freebie days as well. I have now missed 9 consecutive work days. I can't be sick again for the rest of the year or else I'm going to be fired. I sleep in again. Well, that's it. I'm going to be fired. No 2 ways about it. The policy is perfectly clear about this, and I was already pushing it by calling in 9 consecutive days. The 10th day is a fireable offense. I'm a goner. But I don't want to face the music, so I call in and call in and call in. I've called off sick for an entire month now. I'm finally out of money, so I have to go to work. Time to face the music, get fired, find some way to land back on my feet somewhere else with an important lesson learned. I clock in. Boss starts walking up to me. PR guy, here, I need to talk to you. And suddenly words I had never pre-planned begin to spill out of my mouth. Good, I need to talk to you too. I went blind. My boss is thrown off rhythm. Of all of the excuses he was prepared to hear, he'd never considered blindness, and all of the excuses I'd prepared to give, I'd never considered blindness either. It just came out of my mouth. We're both in uncharted territory here. We are both now moving very carefully. Boss, you went blind. Me, yeah, I've had really blurry vision for the past month, and it didn't seem like a good idea to drive a 40-ton truck full of people through an animal reserve when I can't see, you know. Boss, you're blind. Me, I'm better now. Boss, you're better now. Me, yes. The boss excuses himself. I later find out that he's talking to legal. They determine that they can't fire someone for being blind. They obviously can't have a blind person driving a truck around endangered animals either. So they would normally transfer me to a job that a blind person could do. Except I'm claiming to be better now, miraculously cured from temporary blindness. They decide to have me checked by an eye doctor. Naturally, I passed the vision test. There was never anything wrong with my eyes, and since I'm claiming to be better now, I don't intentionally tank the test. Doctor decides I must have been suffering from extreme heat exhaustion. He suggests I drink more water. I've got my job back. There's only one condition. I can never, ever call in sick for the rest of the year if I am sick, and especially if I am blind. I have to come to work and then go to the Disney Health Clinic. Now, I am no dummy. I knew I could never sleep in again, so I set my alarm extra early that night, and I set up a backup alarm and another alarm on top of that one. I would not sleep in again. Success, I'm up and at hours early. I take a shower, I get dressed, I make breakfast, I check my watch. I'm making fantastic time, in fact. I've got like an hour before I have to catch the bus. I sit down on the couch to watch TV. I wake up for hours later. I fell asleep on the couch. I was supposed to be at work 3 hours ago. I call in. I'm fired. Story number 3. I used to work for an IT call center, and after 9 months of being there, I was starting to get fed up with the environment. If you was late by 1 second, it was a strike. You would have to work there for years before being promoted, no benefits. And the pay was horrible. At this time of my life, I was fresh out of college, so many would consider me an alcoholic. I went out to bars with friends at least for days out of the week. I was already pretty good at still being able to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to work the next day and not reek of booze, but this one day, I woke up 5 minutes before my shift started. I had my laptop with me. Because I was testing working at home the day before, but I was not allowed to work at home, I fired the computer up and worked the entire day at home. Not a single call or email from a manager or coworker as to why I wasn't in the office. To them, all they noticed was that I was online. The next day I did the exact same thing by accident. I overslept from drinking, so I worked at home once again, and once again no one said anything. At this point I said screw it and decided to work at home until someone said otherwise. I worked at home for over 2 weeks until one of my managers said anything. I went into the office the following day, hated not being able to watch Netflix while on the phone, so I went back to working at home the following day. I did not go back into the office for another week and a half. By the time my managers found out again, I already found another job, gave them my 2 weeks, and continued working at home until my 2 weeks was up. Story number 4. Back in college, I worked for a medium-sized law firm. Among other office tasks, I was responsible for booking business trips, flights, hotels, rental cars, etc. Used to milk every last cent out of whatever bonus program. Rewards, cashback websites, affiliate programs, credit card points, you name it, I could get my hands on and pocket them, since there were at least 5 bookings a day. You can see that this did add up eventually. When I left after about 2 years, I had raked in about 500,000 frequent flyer miles through credit card points. Something in the area of half a year's worth of hotel nights and easily many thousand euro of cash.